The checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.
Government officially starts taking actions for building Anaklia port. Construction will start this year. It was announced by Anaklia, Prime Minister of Georgia, at the executive government meeting on Monday. According to the head of the government of Georgia, 51% will belong to the state, while 48% will be tendered internationally. Nevertheless, the government will not wait until investors express their interest, and construction works will commence this year. This task is to start the construction of Anaklia port this year. Also, roads and highways are actively constructed, airports extended, and other concepts developed. So we have positive news in every direction, concluded Anaklia, Prime Minister of Georgia. Georgian Prime Minister Anaklia expresses hope that fuel prices will continue to decrease. He has announced this during his speech before the government meeting. The Prime Minister recalled the meeting of the ministers of the economic bloc with the oil importers and talked about their promise that fuel prices would continue to decrease. At the meeting, it was revealed that the margins they have set were not reasonable, and we got a promise from them that prices would start decreasing. The prices started to decrease, and they promised to reduce the price of fuel even more. This, of course, will help our people and inflation as well. It will significantly reduce the level of inflation. Prices are reduced for imported oil by the importers. We had their arguments, and the issue was related to the management of reserves, said Garibashvili. At the same time, the Prime Minister warns the importers that if the margins don't decrease, the government will introduce regulations, although taking into account the European practice. In January 2023, 6,000 vehicles worth of $104 million were exported from Georgia to foreign countries. This volume was 187% more compared to the same period of the previous year. Most of the re-export cars are used, and the average unit price totals to $70,000. Azerbaijan is the first by the re-export, where 2.4 thousand cars worth of $28 million were re-exported. Armenia ranks the second with re-export of $24 million, while Kazakhstan ranks third with re-export of $21 million. Top 10 countries by car re-export are as follows: Azerbaijan, Armenia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan, China, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, Belarus. Georgian corridor handled more than 34,000 trucks in January. Toll revenues were also record-breaking, amounting to $12 million in just 1 month. The growth amounted to 125%. The tax increase in the budget is related to the decision of Georgian government, as the toll fee is grown for transit trailers from June 20, so each trailer will have to pay 350 lari instead of 200 lari. Only in a month, over 7,500 more trucks used the Georgian corridor. According to the data of Ministry of Economy, 32.5 million tons of cargo were transported by roads through the Georgian corridor in 2022. The increase was small, totaling to 500,000 tons. The Sector Economy and Economic Policy Committee hosted yet another dialogue between the public and private sectors to discuss the challenges in manufacturing, construction materials, and personal protective equipment. The construction industry is one of the committee's main directions, so it was essential to learn about the difficulties this industry is facing, according to the committee's chair David Songulashvili. The construction industry has a large workforce to provide suggestions that will produce the intended outcome and assist the industry. It's crucial to understand the difficulties in the direction of local manufacturing of one of the components, building materials and individual protective equipment. Also, we will continue to be actively involved if there are any other issues in the sphere of construction that are coordinated with the industry, Davit remarked. The committee and the government of Georgia will use the provided paper and recommendations to design, update and enhance pertinent sectoral policies at the subsequent stage, which will hasten economic growth in the targeted regions. With the assistance of GIZ, the survey and conversation were carried out as a part of U.S. State Economic Security Program. Reducing prices is very important to us. Essential goods should not be sold with unreasonably high pricing margins. This impacts our population, Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili stated at the government meeting. According to the Prime Minister, markups have grown by 70, 80 and even 100% in some cases, and it's unacceptable. Markups have grown by 70, 80 and even 100% in some cases, and it's unacceptable. Consequently, we have now started active work toward regulating this issue. We have also heard explanations for importers claiming that these 70-80% does not include their profits, but instead depends to some extent on the rules set by retailers, large chains, and we have serious legitimate questions concerning these rules. These rules have not been tried and tested in EU or European countries or in the Western world in general, the Prime Minister said. In addition, according to Irakli Garibashvili, the Ministry of Economy, acting on his instructions, will develop a relevant bill in relation to the EU Directive on Fair Trade. According to the Prime Minister, pricing margins will be set for importers and particular rules will be defined for retailers.
The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.